Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Unity of Command 2, a new World War II turn-based strategy game that allows you to fight through the Allied campaigns on the Western Front. In our last video, we fought the Operation Market Garden. We barely hung on by the skin of our teeth, winning in the absolute last moment by retaking an absolutely wrecked Nijmegen. This was basically a success, and you can't see me over here because I don't have a camera on me, but I am using air quotes in the sense that the actual Market Garden was a success, right? They got all the way to Nijmegen, they got just short of the bridge at Arnhem, they couldn't quite get across the river at Arnhem, and so in the game that treats it as a success and allows you to move forward. You can see here we failed all of our secondary objectives. We didn't take Zuiderzee, we didn't take Dienen, we didn't take Arnhem. And so none of those bonus objectives are around to help improve our starting point in our next battle. We have about 265 prestige that we're going to be carrying forward into this next conference. I'm not sure if it's the last conference. My assumption would be that it might be the last conference, but I suppose there could be 2 more campaigns instead of 1. We are moving into late 44, probably early 45. I'm assuming we're going to be dealing with a German counterattack in the Ardennes, the operations to close the Bulge, and then presumably get over the Rhine and into the heart of Germany. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the campaign. Or conference. Whoa, there's a lot of scenarios. First things first, so we have 315 prestige, I guess, by starting the conference. It gave us an extra 50. We have 2 more units, the Polish Paratrooper Brigade and the 517th Para-Combat Team or something. Parachute Regiment Combat Team or something, I'm not quite sure. And then we have some elite replacements here as current cards. I'm actually going to drop one of these elite replacements. I really haven't been using them all that much. And then I'm going to spend 40 prestige to get Avro Lancasters, a saturation strike, and then we're also going to go ahead and get an additional tactical bomber unit, the B-26, for another 40. So that'll spend 80 of our prestige, dropping us down to 235. In terms of, so that's going to be it for the cards. In terms of the theaters, it looks like the Mediterranean theater is closed, so we have gotten to the Gothic line. We've advanced up the boot of Italy all the way into sort of the northernmost reaches of Italy, but there's no further operation to allow us to advance further. Interestingly enough, it looks like Greece and Crete here are considered green or allied. I don't know if there were like revolutions in Greece or riots or rebels that took over parts of Greece, or the same thing for Crete. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. Or maybe I think I saw a movie with was it who was in that movie? Was Nicolas Cage a bad Italian soldier in a really bad World War II movie with Penelope Cruz? I vaguely remember something about that. And I think they end up fighting the Germans, but I'm pretty sure they end up getting crushed. Anyway, so it looks like the Mediterranean theater is closed from a scenario perspective. Northern Europe, however, this is the most active I've seen any campaign. So even as you get out of the iconic Normandy, you get out of the iconic race across France and Market Garden, they serve up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more scenarios here. And then I'm going to guess there's going to be one, well, maybe not. This one's in March. So that might be the last one if March is there. But I would think, and this one, yeah, February and March, I guess I would think there'd be an operation where you drive to the northern coast and take Kiel. So my hunch is kind of that there would be one more conference and battle after this, but this is a lot of scenarios. So I guess we'll see. The Germans withdrew from Greece in October of 44. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, so let's see here. We've got a lot of missions to fight. We have 235 prestige left. We can use some of that prestige to improve our logistical support, which might not be a terrible idea. We also can use it to improve some of the setups of some of our divisions. I think really, in my mind, the main focus is making sure that everybody has set piece attack and feint. Not everybody does, so the US 9th Army does not. So I will spend, yikes, 50 prestige to get them that capability. And they're the only ones who don't then. So everybody else has that capability already. What's this? Security units. I've never deployed a security unit in my life, so I don't really know if it's super valuable. The Free French will go ahead and spend 25 prestige to get their logistics up to level 10, along with everybody else's. I don't know why I spent so much prestige getting the Italians and the Italian forces up to the 11th and 12th levels of range and movement, because that kind of seemed to shoot me in the foot. It meant I spent all my prestige there. I am going to spend a fair amount of money getting these guys at least up to 11. I hate the idea of spending most of my prestige before the next battle where I may need it for some prestige units. But I'm going to spend it on the 3rd, 1st, 2nd British Army, and the 1st Canadian armies, just to hopefully have a little bit better range from our supply depots. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And I think we're going to go ahead and end the conference. And we've already picked our cards. We already have our units. So the next battle in the campaign is the operation to reduce the Scheldt estuary. So after the failure of Operation Market Garden, Scheldt decides to pursue a less dangerous and more systematic broad front strategy. For this to be possible, the Allies must first try to rectify their supply situation by clearing the approaches to Antwerp. The Germans that hold the area are second-rate troops on paper, but due to the priority given to Market Garden, they have had ample time to dig in. So this is going to be another slog for sure. The Scheldt, if you remember when we fought Market Garden, or not Market Garden, the race to Antwerp, we just barely missed. We missed getting the Scheldt in time for a secondary objective by like a turn. If we had gotten there a turn earlier, I'm really curious if this scenario wouldn't be necessary. But in any event, it is. And so we're going to go ahead and fight the Scheldt estuary. Meanwhile, you can see here a bunch of the French ports, as were historically, were isolated, so that even though most of France had fallen, a lot of the French ports were not yet under the Allied controls. Dunkirk, I don't think, was. Big chunks of Calais, Saint-Nazaire, and all of these sort of channel ports here, which is another thing that exacerbated the supply situation. The other fact is that the Allies had completely destroyed most of the logistical infrastructure in the preparation for Normandy, and as a result, they were trying to transport supplies over a bombed-out country with wrecked infrastructure and no real ability to effectively repair it. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the operation for the Scheldt, October 2nd of 1944, just after the conclusion of Market Garden, and I'm assuming we're going to see some Canadians in here, so that might make Neuhauser happy. Those bloodthirsty Canadians killing all those POWs. I'm just kidding. I like to tease Neuhauser about that because apparently many of the sources now say some of that was overstated. Scheldt. Scenario briefing. Schaeff. Our bid to cross the Rhine has failed. With it, any chance for a quick end to the war. We must now look to our supplies before continuing offensive operations elsewhere. You captured Antwerp back in early September, but inexcusably, the waterways leading into the port have not yet been cleared of German forces. On the contrary, the enemy has had plenty of time to dig in. Okay, so this is very much like Market Garden. So, like, there's a very interesting diversity of maps in this game. If you remember Antwerp, the race to Antwerp was this gigantic, sprawling map. Actually, it might have been a subset of this, although this isn't quite as big because it doesn't go down to Paris. But this gigantic map from Paris all the way to Antwerp. And now in this operation, we're just crammed into this tiny little area, just like Market Garden. So I think that's kind of an interesting feature, if you will, in the game. We're in the pre-battle phase, so we're just going to go ahead and make sure that we don't have units that can be, reinforced or deployed or whatnot for free without spending prestige. I'd prefer to avoid spending prestige if I can, but some of these units had taken casualties at the end of the last battle, so we want to make sure that we get their reinforcements or their whatever you call it, the troops that had been disrupted up to the front. These guys have already. I want to make sure that my troops have sufficient artillery. So actually we have a few American units here. I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of prestige here on some extra artillery. And I'm assuming we want some M7 priests, which are like mobile artillery. So we'll go ahead and add them to the Polish unit there. And then we'll go ahead and add some quick firers. I don't even know if we can spend any money here. I'm basically spending all the little prestige that I had here on some 25-pounders. Mainly because if the enemy is so well dug in, I want to make sure that we've got all of our chance to overwhelm them. So we're going to go ahead and prepare for battle. We'll go ahead and jump right in. and we'll see what happens. All right. So, again, very narrow front. We have 4 turns to get a major objective by taking Wodendrecht and Velkeren. I don't know how to pronounce these words. Velkeren's over here. Wodendrecht is over here. So really, we don't have to advance far. They're just 2 hexes and 1 hex. But you can see there's a big river between us, which is going to make attacking much more difficult. And again, this entire German line is dug in. Secondary objectives could be to take the Bearskin Pocket, South Beveland, and Replacement Crisis. Lose 5 steps. Current 0. Replacement Crisis. What's A? Where's that? What the hell? So that's a secondary objective. Bonus objective is... Doesn't even show me where on the map that is. Like here... Am I blind? Am I not seeing where this is? I don't quite understand that. That's really weird. Meanwhile, so first things that we can do here, repairing bridges. Doesn't look like we can repair any bridges at this time. No bridges in our territory that need to be repaired in any event. Far left, replacement crisis. That's the Bearskin Pocket. I don't actually see... I may just be missing it. It may be right in front of me. In any event, we already have 1 saturation strike here, and then we have 1 air attack. So we can use a saturation strike to try and break through the enemy lines here. We're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and use this. I'm hoping that they don't bomb my own troops, but they did a little bit. So they bombed our own troops. They did hurt us a little bit. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and launch a fixed attack against these troops, or a set-piece attack. So they breached the enemy lines, and the enemy is still dug in, but apparently we've got a 0 to 2 odds with this armor. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to move this armor off to the right here a little bit. We're going to move these troops over here. And just like that, we've broken through the enemy line. Although we can't really exploit it yet at this time. So I'm going to move my armor back, just because I don't want to have them on the front. I'm assuming the enemy's going to fill in a troop here and replace their position, but I think these troops are actually... Yep, they're in a fort. So we just destroyed an enemy unit in forts. Their left flank along the sea is anchored in 3 units that are in forts, and we just destroyed 1 of the 3 on the first turn. So that's a very successful operation, I think. Meanwhile, these other guys over here, we'll go ahead and launch a set-piece attack at Wolfendrecht. We lose a lot of suppression, but we do manage to knock them back a bit. We'll go ahead and launch a set-piece attack over here. So we didn't actually get rid of their fortifications on Wodendrecht, but we did manage to get rid of the fortifications on the right flank. We'll move these troops over here to support the other flank. I would really like to pull these guys back up out of Antwerp, but apparently when you do a set-piece attack, you can't actually move. So we've got attack air we can use. I guess we'll attack over here on the right flank. We'll move this armor forward, and it looks like they can do 2 damage there. So we drove these guys back with some casualties as well. And as far as supplies are concerned, it looks like everybody has kind of the supply they can get. So I guess we'll go ahead and move forward a turn. Okay, so the Germans didn't actually do anything. They didn't even move troops into where we had destroyed their unit in those forts. So that's good. Meanwhile, our supply situation is not good. Alright, let's try and get a bridgehead over here. These troops are not dug in. So we can go ahead and try and go for them. Get 3 of them, drive them back. Cross the river, finish them off, overrun them. We'll see if they counterattack us there. A little uneasy that they might. We'll supply these guys. with some headquarters supplies. Okay. Right, these guys are going to get across the river as well. Supply them. Alright, so we're slowly getting across the river. Meanwhile, rearguard action here. We drove these guys back. Alright, so we haven't lost any steps yet. Although, again, if the Germans do counterattack, then we might. I wonder if putting an extra supply depot in one of these cities here will actually improve the... lessen the disruption. That's my hope, anyway. Alright, so we'll keep our armor forward here. Actually, we'll keep them at the depot. And I think we'll move forward another turn. So we're going to be on turn 3 here of potentially up to 12. So the Germans are pretty passive in this turn, which makes sense. These guys are isolated. This is a pocket of enemy troops that are cut off and not in great shape. Okay, so these guys can go ahead and bombard from our troops over here. Go ahead and do a set-piece attack against these troops. See if we can breach. We didn't manage to. So unfortunately, we attacked there again, but we did not succeed in breaking them. Try to expand. Nice. Okay, so we just overran these guys. Drove those guys back. So this armor has now linked up with the other troops that are across the river. I'm assuming we need to repair this bridge. And we can't repair the bridge on the left flank. Okay. So we can get 1-to-1 there. I'd rather not take any casualties if I don't have to. But I might be playing a little too passive. We're going to try and take Woldensdracht next turn. By turn 4. And we'll see. Hey, No Name. How you doing? Right, Germans advance some troops over there. Alright, so 2 units have their supply disrupted, including these guys who are way far forward. Let's go ahead and repair some bridges. And I actually think I used all my command points, so I can't even launch attacks here. So I'm not going to achieve this objective in time. Okay, so these guys are going to be on a rail line, so they'll be in supply. Be interesting if we could swap these guys. Alright, so we're going to have to save our big attack, I think, for the next one. Alright, just took a loss there. I wonder if that's going to actually matter or not. Alright, so we took the other fortification here, which is the Breskin's Pocket, which is a secondary objective that you want to take by turn 7. So we managed to take that. We have lost 1 step due to taking some casualties in that battle, but we now have 2 hexes adjacent to Velkern, which is the other objective, the other secondary objective, and we still have quite a bit of time left. So this is a little bit of a, I think, reward. Queen Elizabeth class battleship. How do I take my reward? Oh, do I have to... Alright, let's use a saturation strike. So now I get a Queen Elizabeth class battleship. Hell yeah! Alright, do I can't really attack with these guys yet anyway, so we're going to do the bombardment of this city here in the next turn, I think. and we'll move forward here to turn number 5. Okay, so the Germans are reinforcing here with some new steps in this city that's already dug in. Our supply's getting a little bit better. Alright, so we are going to do saturation strike against this city. Oh, that was not my saturation strike. Oh god. I took another casualty. I bombed my own troops. I bombed my own troops and took an actual KIA. Meanwhile, we at least broke the enemy hold there. One KIA, but not actually killed on our end. Nice. That armor there destroyed the unit and this objective, and then promptly drove north over here and destroyed a second German unit. That's doing some work. Okay. All right, now the question is going to be how we reduce the other city. But I think things are going reasonably well here. We'll have to see. We'll move forward to the next turn. This is a very slow episode, or not episode, but it's a very slow campaign, I guess? Or battle? It's very methodical. Alright, so these guys have 5 steps, but the good news is they don't have any entrenchment. So we'll go ahead and bombard them here. Bomb them with tac air. Attack them with infantry. And overrun them. And now we've taken the objective. Meanwhile, our armor, which is on the flank, can go ahead and overrun them there. Drive that unit back. Have our troops advance along the rail line. Take some prisoners. Shift these troops over here to protect our supply line. And I don't think they can cross the river here. I think the depot here is safe. So we've now taken the first of the objectives. I think now we really have to focus on trying to take the second. So I think we're going to move these guys forward here. Kind of provide these guys supply. And then we'll go for... I mean, we could probably use a Queen Elizabeth class battleship to bombard it. But I'd hate to use so many cards so quickly if we don't have to. So let's be a little bit more cautious about that. Okay. Alright, so we're going to try and set-piece attack these guys out of the fort. Next turn, we'll see how that plays out. And we'll move forward to turn number 7. Okay, so the Germans are adding some reinforcements to the flank. Alright. Of course, we're low on supply on the other flank, which means all we can do is bombard. Just a single bombardment? Really? Well, how the hell am I supposed to take this guy out? I really don't want to launch suicide attacks. Alright. So we've kind of broken the right flank. We've done quite a bit of damage on their right. We have till next turn to take South Beveland for another secondary objective, for another 20 prestige. So we're going to move these troops up this way. Shit. I took another step casualty. I can't afford those. What are we up to? 3 now? Thanks for the follow. That's Dr. Gibson to you. Honestly, I think next turn we're not going to have much of a choice. I think we're going to have... Well, I don't want to do that. I think we're going to have to... I think we're going to have to bring in the Queen Elizabeth. The supply situation is just such a pain in the neck. This is clearing of the Scheldt estuary, Dr. Gibson. Okay, so... Can any of these guys do anything? These guys can bombard. But that doesn't even do anything. They can't even launch a set-piece attack. So I've got 4 turns to figure out how to break these fuckers. Okay. Are there any bridges that need to be repaired? I'm kind of confused here. Like, what's holding us back? No attacks across major rivers. Well, how the hell am I supposed to attack these guys? I guess I probably have to lay a pontoon bridge? You can't even lay a pontoon bridge there. What if we lay a pontoon bridge here? And then try and come around their flank, maybe? I don't even know why. There's a bridge right there. I would think we could attack across it. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do here. I mean, I could drop paratroopers in the rear. I'd try to avoid that if I can. There's no way to supply them if we do that. Pretty sure I put a pontoon bridge at the wrong spot. Okay. I need one here. It won't even let me put one there. I'm so confused. There's no bridges that need to be repaired. There's no pontoons that can be laid that are going to help us. Like, you can't even attack there. What am I supposed to do? I don't want to waste the Queen Elizabeth if it's going to just shoot us in the foot. I'm gonna... Ah! Got him wiped out! This is so dumb. There's bridges right here. That's what I don't understand. There's literally a bridge between these two. I can't fathom it. Like, what are you supposed to do? I can't repair the bridge, Honor. The bridge isn't even destroyed. It won't even let me repair the bridge. Won't even let me build a pontoon across this river at all. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to do here. Does this cut their supply, maybe? Is that what I was supposed to do? It doesn't even do that. You can't attack. How? There's gotta be. This is just. This feels broken. I'm not 100% sure. I'm guessing Velkern is a supply point. The game just like randomly said like, nope, you can't attack across the river. Maybe a fortified position across a river. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, I really haven't the faintest idea what you're supposed to do. I'm pretty sure I did a fixed attack, though. So, like, theoretically, I guess I got across this way without supply, but got there. Now, of course, this is the last scenario, so, like, is that how you're supposed to do it? The last turn in the scenario? Maybe I didn't upgrade my army enough to attack across the river? I mean, I don't want to lose more casualties just to lose them. I guess we're going to have to try that again. I really hate that I wasted the Polish paras, though. And the Queen Elizabeth. So we lose 46 score. Oh, do I get the Polish back? Maybe I do. Alright, well maybe I get the stuff I lost back. We're going to try the Scheldt one more time. I mean, it seems like you can't attack across a major river against a fortified enemy. Or maybe even not at all. But what that may hint to me is that I may have to attack around the right and swing in behind these islands here to come in toward the rear. I have no idea how that's gonna work. We'll have to see. Okay. I think I have the... Do I have the same amount of prestige going into this battle? I'm not 100% sure. Be nice if there was like a... Do engineers maybe allow you attack across? I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so that's pretty much all our prestige. Get an extra infantry step for these guys. So we'll go ahead, jump in. Hey, Coffee Filter, how you doing? All right, so let's try this again. First things first, no bridges that we can repair. This apparently is not a major river, but it is over here, so we can't attack across this major river here, right in front of the Velkarn, or however you pronounce that. What we do need to do here is, I think, we'll attack across this railway. Apparently we didn't break their defenses. We did there that time. Okay. I should have used my air against them, but I actually elected not to. I don't even see the point of attacking, honestly, with these troops across this river. What's the point in destroying these troops if we really need to turn them out of their position? I guess the one exception is the Breskin's Pocket is a objective here. So we did get across there. We destroyed the fort. We suppressed the troops. Pull these tanks back this way. Oh, man, I can't get the tanks over there. So I guess undo that. 0-2. Oh, we lost a casualty attacking there. I really would have thought that would have been... It said 0-2. So we just lost a step. As a reminder, the objectives are to take Woensdracht, Velkeren. Woensdracht if you can by turn 4, Velkeren by turn 10. The secondary objectives don't lose more than 5 steps, otherwise you suffer a replacement troop crisis. We just lost 1, so 5 or less, I guess, or less than 5. The Breskin's Pocket by turn 7, which is right here, and South Beveland by turn 8. Alright, so... I guess we're going to do that. Let's bump the supply up a bit. And we'll go ahead. There's more than one more battle, Coffee. There's like at least 8 more battles. I was running a preview version of the game still, apparently. So I actually sent them the save file that I had been playing through. And they went ahead and they sent back a corrected save. And that was pretty awesome of them. All right, so we've taken the Breskin's Pocket. Okay. We've now destroyed this enemy unit. And we're now opposite of Velkeren. However, we can't yet reduce it. So what we really have to do is break through on the right flank, swing around, and come in along the smaller riverways along these different islands or whatever, I think. So... we already broke the line here. God damn it, I'm taking casualties that I feel like I shouldn't be taking. Another casualty! Stop lying to me. I mean, the Alright, so we're across the river here. Canadian first needs to repair some bridges. So we'll do that. Get these guys supply. Also need to use something. So let's take... I'm going to go all out with saturation strikes on these guys, so I'll take another saturation strike and we'll get the Queen Elizabeth for naval bombardment. We may have to use it here too, because I don't really think there's another scenario along the coast actually, so we probably just want to use this one here too. We can use it up to 3 times in the scenario. Theater asset, 2 uses left this turn. Turn 2 uses... 2 uses left in the scenario. Okay. Alright, so... I think I'm going to swing my armor wide right. Throw them back. We're really going to try and break out right down this rail line and then swing left towards South Beveland. I've got a salient, but the Germans in this scenario are pretty passive. So they're pretty content to just let you kind of be. Okay. So we'll use tack air here. Wow, nice. 2 KIA. Okay, so we drove them back. Meanwhile, these tanks are going to drive along the railway and destroy that unit, overrun them. They're also going to damage this other troop here on the flank. Move these guys over here so they can help bombard this objective here. And no more bridges. These guys, why don't they have supply? I'm not even sure we need to keep this objective here. Or these troops here. Like, these guys can't even cross the river, so what's the point? Potentially it gives you more bombardment there, I guess. Oh, did I waste my saturation strike? Didn't I have 2? I think I had to use it by the end of that turn. Shit. God damn it, I just lost a KIA for my own bombers. I think we get those bombers back, though. Some of the information the game communicates, I don't fully understand. Alright, so we started with a saturation strike a turn early, perhaps. We're up to 2 two-step casualties. I think we're going to try and take this objective here. We're at turn 4. They're coming in from the other way now! Again, this method always seems to inflict some pretty heavy friendly casualties on you. These guys are going to bombard. Didn't do anything. Okay. Alright, so they destroyed those Germans there. Then they took the objective. Meanwhile, they just knocked out another German unit there. So protect our flank here. These troops I'm going to swing east. Because again, I think we're relatively safe. I don't think the Germans can cross the river here. So we've taken one of the objectives and one of the secondaries. We've got till turn 8 to take South Beveland over here. It's going to be our next objective. But we're going to have to deal with these German troops to our front. Now we should have supplies along this railway, so that's good. Okay. Those troops will be in supply. Alright. Queen Elizabeth, we get 3 more uses this battle, but I don't think it leaves the scenario at any point. We may have used all our saturation strikes. Meanwhile, the Germans, for whatever reason, are reinforcing their far extreme right flank. Which seems a little bit silly. Be fun if we could find a way to destroy these guys. Alright, so we just knocked them back pretty heavily with air attack. Then we overrun them. And we finished them off. Alright, So now we'll get armor. Forward here into the enemy rear. The rear guard, so they actually will retreat, which actually plays into my hands because now they're going to be cut off. Without supply, so I do need to move my own troops forward here. Can't allow myself to be cut off here, but I'm blitzing across the right side of the map here over this bridge. The Germans can't cross the river here, so it may look like madness to leave this front unguarded, but again, there's no crossings. This is considered a major river. It's an impassable object. And so now that we're entirely across the right, now we can kind of try and press and find a breakthrough maybe towards South Beveland by turn 8. And actually, to that point, I don't see any reason to leave this depot over here. The one we have in Antwerp should provide all the supply we need. And we should be able to beef it up a little bit to get better supply to the front. Meanwhile, these German troops should be on the vine, and they should die over the next couple of turns. Why do I play this game? Because I enjoy it. Do you not like it, Cheeto? Okay. See, these guys are cut off now. Well, that was a worthless bombing raid. Okay, rear guard means they'll retreat. Wouldn't be a battle if I wasn't losing stupid amounts of men for no reason. Alright, we're gonna wait to attack them. I'm kind of actually curious here. Let's do this. This will be an interesting idea. Let's pull back here. We'll see if the Germans advance toward Wodendracht to retake this objective. There's no reason... There's no reason we can't draw these Germans maybe out of their fortified positions and then swing in around them. See, what we did there now is there's no more enemy unit over there dug in, and the German troops that just advanced themselves. Alright, so we bombarded to suppress them, and then we killed and overran them, and retook the objective. Nice. I'm 100% okay with that. We just crippled one unit that will be to our front when the real battle gets going. Not that this isn't the real battle. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and suppress these guys with artillery. Three KIA. Nice. Okay, so now we need to try and move forward on this flank. I'm going to try and suppress these guys who are already out of supply. We're going to go ahead and hit them with air as well. Move the armor forward. Corner and overrun. And destroy them. Alright. So we are now... I need to move this over here just to make sure they don't get in behind me. As much as I don't really see the purpose in doing that, I need to make sure they don't get in behind my supplies. So I do have to kind of keep a couple of units over here. So now we're in turn 7. We're not going to take this objective by turn 8, but I think what we can do here is, can we build... I don't have any command points. Might as well move the headquarters into Antwerp a little bit closer to the front. I should have taken the command points, really. We'll go ahead and bump the supplies up here a little bit. Germans could cross the river and try and get behind us, so we'll actually pull this troop back. But I'm wondering if I can build a bridge next turn to try and approach Velkern from the rear. The Queen Elizabeth should help in reducing the fortification. Hearts of Iron really isn't a comparable game, Cheeto. They're completely different types of games. All right, so now that we're here, can we build a pontoon? I don't understand why I have to build a pontoon here. Like, why can't I build a pontoon anywhere else? So it's very specific. You've got to drive across this road, this river, to get to Velkern. Meanwhile, these German troops are completely out of supply. They're going to be dead next turn. Wow. I got rid of their fortifications here. I wonder if that means we might be able to attack him next turn. It would sure be great. Nope. Still can't attack. Good to know. Alright. There's no reason not to bomb them there. Alright, so we're going to have 3 turns with the Queen Elizabeth. So we'll go 9, 10, 11 probably. We're going to have to build one more bridge up over here to cross over to the rear of this fort. I'm hoping we can do it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. If we lose this again, it's going to be really frustrating. Yeah, still can't attack there. The other problem is all of these troops are going to be without supply. Because that's just the way the game works. Alright, we're going to start the bombardment of the enemy here. We took out 3 of their... Why? I'm confused. I can't build over here, but I can build here. Oh, it's out of our command radius. So I can build here, but then that still means I have to build another pontoon. Maybe we're better off moving. Well, actually, no. So we can build the bridge. We can still move them. So we're going to have to build another bridge next turn. Alright, so these German troops have completely surrendered. Okay, so now we've just got to figure out a way to get the troops to Velkern. So I can't build a bridge? I don't understand. Why can't I build a bridge? Hey Cheeto, thanks for the follow. This is really, and the host. This is infuriating. I don't understand. What the hell? I don't want to lose this damn battle. We're gonna land him on top of the fort. Hey, they took the objective. What the fuck? They're totally dead. I dropped the Polish paratroopers on top of the fort, and they took the objective. It's a miracle. Okay. So these guys need supplies. These guys have no supplies. Okay. For some reason, I still don't understand why. I mean, they've got command radius all the way over there. Maybe they can't move and build the next turn. I don't know if there's some obscure rule I'm not quite understanding. I guess we'll find out. The Germans didn't even counterattack. Objective complete! You're victorious! And we didn't lose this replacement crisis. I'll end that scenario and take that. I will take that victory. 98. Yeah, that was not an efficient victory, but hey, you know what? A slugfest, a slog. It was what it was, and it was a victory. And you know what? I'm okay with that. All right, so the Scheldt has fallen, which now gives us 3 new mission options. We can fight the Battle of Hertingen Forest, the Battle of Lorraine, and the Battle of Belfort Gap. So these are all battles on the approach to the Rhine. It's not the Battle of the Bulge. It is sort of the November before. So if we were to just go by dates, the Lorraine, or Alsace-Lorraine battle would come first on November 8th. Hertingen Forest is the 18th or 16th, and Belfort Gap is the 14th. So this one would be the next chronological date to play. I'm not familiar with Belfort Gap. Hertingen is pretty famous, but I'm not familiar with the with that battle. All right, so we're gonna do the battle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and cut this one out. I did show one defeat because the Battle of the Scheldt is really confusing, and I don't think you can take it by frontal assault. I do think you have to flank it wide around. In the first playthrough, you could see I could place a bridge in a place I couldn't place it in the second playthrough. That would have actually given me a more direct route to assault the city. I got a little bit, gutsy and dropped paratroopers on the city itself. I don't think that's obviously the preferred way to win. Especially since not everybody will have paratroopers available to them in that battle. But in any event, it worked for us, and we won the battle on our second playthrough. Again, this was just a very tricky scenario, and I don't even think I approached it super efficiently, but that's just, I wanted to show the failure and the success so you kind of understand how best to play it or how to think about that battle, because a frontal assault's kind of outside the scope of what you can do. In any event, that's going to do it for this episode. A little bit of a longer one. Hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, as always, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.